There are many groundbreaking records in Osu, but many have been broken time and time again. Let's take a look at some Osu records that will never be broken, or well, anytime soon. Real quickly, make sure to subscribe. Okay, thank you. The longest tournament win streak held by an individual. The longest tournament win streak in Osu, currently held by Vaxay, is crazy. As for a whopping 5 years, every tournament Vaxay had participated in, he won. This record lasted from early 2018 all the way up until 2023. If we're counting actual tournaments, not show matches, his streak was broken in the mrekk Grandmaster Cup, where he went up against Malashevsky in the grand finals and got Braziled. Even though it was really sad to see an OG player getting schooled by the best tournament player in the world nowadays, his record will almost never be broken, as for a period of 5 years, the competition will only get better and better. Even Malashevsky might not be able to rival that tournament streak. The most amount of hours played by an individual. Do you ever wonder who's played Osu the most? Well, you might think it's top players who invest the most time into the game, and that's why they're at the top. But you're actually wrong. Kevin333G is the person with the most amount of ranked playtime, sitting at a huge 349 days and 4 hours. That is 8,380 hours across all game modes. What the fuck? People like to say to master your craft you put in 10,000 hours, but looking at his profile it looks like Kevin has taken it easy, and there is no problem with that. The most amount of number 1 scores on beat maps. The most amount of number 1 scores on beat maps is held by someone you may have seen on the 1 or 2 star global leaderboards. Griffin. Griffin is the player with the most amount of number 1s, sitting at a staggering 6,268 as of the 21st of May 2024. The origin story for Griffin getting this many number 1s is that he was simply tired of PP farming, and when he discovered leaderboard farming, he found it much more enjoyable. Most of these scores that he has at number 1 are unsnipeable because he learned how to max spin, which means he can spin consistently at the highest speed, which makes it impossible to beat. Cookiezi's Freedom Dive number 1 spot. Cookiezi's most notable score without a doubt is his Freedom Dive Hidden Hard Rock score that was set on the 20th of September 2016, 8 years back. This was the first 800 PP play, and an extremely underweighted score that is now properly reflected as it's worth 939 PP. The thing is, he's been number 1 on the map for 8 years. It's not like people haven't tried. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. There are 5 hidden Hard Rock FCs, all with worse accuracy than Cookiezi. Take mrekk, the current number 1 player. He has double the amount of 100s compared to Cookiezi, and this was 6 months ago. Then there's Rupersian, the Canadian Cookiezi. Okay, Birch. Anyways, he was the closest actually getting 2 more 100s. This was 3 years back. It really shows how dominant and how far ahead Cookiezi was of his time. An iconic 8-year score that has not been sniped yet, and I don't see a world where it gets sniped anytime soon. Hopefully I didn't jinx it. If he does get sniped, blame me. The Osu Taiko World Cup streak. The Osu Taiko World Cup has been a thing since 2011, and in the first ever World Cup, Taiwan would win. Then in 2012, Japan would win. Then in 2013, it would go back to Taiwan. It looked like this would be the case for the following Taiko World Cups, as both Taiwan and Japan had extremely strong teams, so it was no surprise that in 2014, Japan would claim it back. But wait, in 2015, Japan would win again, and in 2016, again, 2017, again, and all the way up until current year, 2024. That means Japan has had a win streak of 10 years for the Taiko World Cup. Will there be a change next year? And who would be the team to take all the glory? Well, it's safe to say this record will never be broken, as a 10-year win streak is insanely dominant. I mean, 8 out of the top 10 Taiko players are from Japan. That's just messed up. The record for most amount of earnings made by an Osu player through tournaments. Right now, the amount of money given through all total Osu prize pools is $257,000 and counting. However, the top earner as of the 21st of May 2024, Malashevsky has made $13,231 US, with Vaxay coming second with $12,289 US, and finally current ranked number 1 player mrekk coming third at $10,439 US. The reason I say this record of being number 1 in earnings will never be broken is because of Malashevsky's pure skill. He has enough talent and skill to keep pursuing and playing tournaments, and he's not giving up anytime soon. This income he receives helps pay the rent and funds trip for him and his mom, which is wholesome. That's why I think Malashevsky will continue to maintain the number 1 spot in tournament earnings, but only time will tell. The most number of days spent at rank 1 in Osu Standard consecutively. This record was previously held by Cookiezi for 456 days in a row at number 1. Then Whitecat would come up and further that lead by sitting at the first place for 550 days in a row. Now mrekk, the best player in the game, has held the number 1 spot for a whopping 1,139 days, from the 18th of April 2021 to current day. That is absolutely crazy, and with with him having a 1000 pp plus gap from him and a Qualibed, and the grind still continuing, there is no sight in when this record will be broken, if ever. The USA OWC win streak. Now, instead of the Taiko World Cup, let's take a look at the standard Osu World Cup. The US is known for being one of the best nations in Osu, and their OWC roster is no exception. OWC has been a thing since 2011, and again, as Taiwan dominated in Taiko, so did their standard team. The United States' streak of winning the Osu World Cup currently sits at
6 in a row,
which could have been
9
if Poland didn't win in 2017, but the years have been getting rockier and rockier. So for the time being, this record winning streak won't be broken for a while, if not ever. But looking at last year and the year before, it would be surprising if we don't see an upset from South Korea. And who knows, maybe South Korea will come back to former glory as they won 3 years in a row towards the earlier stages of the game. The person with the most amount of 1000 pp plus scores. Now this may seem obvious, mrekk has the most 1000 pp scores as the #1 player, but people don't understand the severity and how many he truly has. His top 100 scores based on pp are all filled with 1.1ks and above. That is insane. Soon it's going to be filled with all 1.2ks, but his sheer consistency and ability to set 1ks with ease is just insane. It's so much so in fact that we've lost count. There will be multiple sessions where he'll just set 1k pp and not bat an eye, because it's worth 0 pp to him.
0 pp for a 1k? Okay.
Kind of got me sounding like nerdiness with the amount of meat riding, but this guy is something else. And I don't see this record being broken anytime soon, as the second person to reach all 1000 pp scores was a Qualibed on the 6th of March. The longest FC with the flashlight mod. The Unforgiving is one of the longest Osu standard beat maps. It's a compilation of songs from Within Temptation, a band, all the songs coming from their album, The Unforgiving. And when Aryn and 9 other mappers had mapped and finished this masterpiece, it came to the total length of 52 minutes and 58 seconds. Now, who would be crazy enough to memorize this 1 hour long map and FC it with flashlight? Well, 2 people actually, but we'll be talking about the first person to do so, -GN. On the 22nd of March 2021, -GN would actually FC this map with flashlight.
I am so happy. I am so happy. It is over. It is finally done. It's fucking accomplished.
After 90 total hours of playing this map and more than a year of practice, he had achieved one of the most dedicated FCs and actually a flashlight only 1000 pp play, but unfortunately it has been nerfed to 802 pp. GN was the first person to do so, but Kalanu would come in 4 months later on the 22nd of July 2021 and also FC it with flashlight. But GN was first, so that's up to debate if they hold the record of the longest FC with flashlight equally, but surely a new standard Osu beat map is longer and then someone will try and FC it with flashlight. The most amount of followers on an Osu profile that's not a bot. The most amount of followers a proper Osu player has, not including any bots, goes to Cookiezi. Cookiezi is an OG player, and with his name being synonymous with the game and his legacy, it's no surprise he'd rack up 163,000 followers. For reference, mrekk, the current #1 player, has around 80,000. That's half of Cookiezi's. You could make the argument that Cookiezi has been around way longer, and that makes sense, but it won't be until a really long time that this record will be broken. But we'll see. The mapper with the most amount of beat maps ranked. The mapper with the most amount of ranked beat maps is Andrea, a proper old mapper. They joined the game on the 30th of August 2008. That's 1 month after I was born. Sorry to make you feel old. But not including guest difficulties, they have ranked 355 maps, with Sotak's following behind at 303 and Annabelle at 240. With Andrea still mapping, this record won't be broken for a long time. The peak number of concurrent spectators. This record belongs to Cookiezi, as such a prominent player throughout the start of the game and even now when he would return after a hiatus on the 26th of August 2021, osugame went wild, with a peak of 3,953 in-game spectators watching Cookiezi play. This record won't be broken for a long time, as his comeback to the game is solidified into Osu history. These are Osu records that will never be broken, I hope. Make sure to watch my other videos if you enjoyed, and make sure to like and subscribe. Okay, take care, bye bye.